I'm Brett Michael Phillips from MIT, and I'm here today to lead you deeper into the quantum field, specifically by helping you make a distinction in your life between emotion and feelings. And this is really, really important because, long story short, if you let emotion make your important decisions, you're screwed. Positive or negative, it doesn't matter. Reactive emotion will almost always lead you astray and cause nothing but problems in your life. But feeling is your guide. It is your higher power. Feeling is what's happening right now. So I am going to give more precise definitions and give you some tips on how to tell the difference. But first, I want to just point out something really critical, which is part of this is semantics. I'm going to give you my definitions of emotion and feeling and how to distinguish between the two and how to know what to listen to and what to ignore. And this will make a huge difference in your life because that feeling is your connection to the quantum field. That is your higher intelligence, your divine guidance. But emotion is entirely from the ego. However, other people could define these words differently. So just be aware of that. Other people may give different definitions to emotion and feeling. So it's not about the words you use, it's about what they mean. As an example, let's say that you go to a restaurant in Los Angeles and order a taco. What are you going to get? Well, you would expect you'll get Mexican food, right? You get a tortilla folded in half with some meat, some cheese, some lettuce, some salsa, something like that, right? Right, that's what most of us would consider a taco. But if you go to Japan and go to a seafood restaurant and order a taco, you're going to get an octopus. Why? That's what taco means in Japanese. Who's right? No one's right. It's just different groups of people that live in different parts of the world give different meanings to what sounds like the same word. That's all I want you to hear for right now. So I'm going to give you my definition of emotion and feeling. Other teachers, other healers may use different definitions, and that's okay. We just want to be really clear on exactly what the words mean. And when you have that, it doesn't really matter what words you use. So here we go. What's the difference? Well, emotion is created in the mind reactively. It's entirely a product of the ego. So here's how it works. Something happens to you. Your mind then judges it good or bad. It gives it meaning. Your brain then creates chemicals, primarily through the pituitary gland, that match the meaning you're giving it. So if something good happens to you, it gives you feel-good chemicals. If something bad happens to you, it gives you feel-bad chemicals. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how life works, right? So if I tell you, hey, you just won $1 million in the lottery, you're going to be happy. Why is that? Simple. Your brain and mind judges having more money is good. And it produces happy chemicals and you feel good. If I tell you, hey, your best friend just died, that's going to make you sad. Why? Your mind gives negative meaning to losing a loved one and produces feel-bad chemicals, and then you feel bad. And Candace Pert wrote a wonderful book called The Molecules of Emotion that goes into this. She describes the actual physical biology and chemistry that creates our emotions. But the important thing is this: emotions come out of the ego. They're created entirely by the mind giving meaning to what happens. As an example, let's say that I call you and say, hey, that investment you put a bunch of money into turned out great. You're going to make $1 million. You'll have a check next week. You'll be excited. You'll be happy, right? Notice that your life in the present moment didn't change at all. But you give meaning to having money in the future that your life will be better. And you feel good. That's emotion. If I call you and say, hey, I got some bad news, that big investment didn't work out, it was a scam, you lost everything. That's going to make you feel bad. Even though, notice in both cases, what's really happening in your life at that moment didn't change at all. It's just your mind gave positive meaning to one and negative meaning to the other. Again, that's not a problem, that's just how minds work, right? So feeling is what happens right now in the moment. So if I walk up behind you and tap you on the shoulder, that's feeling. Why? That's really happening right now. That's real. And this is so important because it is our feeling that guides us. And one of the ways we reconnect to the quantum field to become luckier, to get life to break our way is simple. We need to see past the emotion and connect to the feeling. How do we do that? I'm going to give you some hints. But first, just in case you haven't done so already, I know you don't want to miss out. If you're watching this video to this point, I think you like it, right? If you hate it, click away, watch something else. But if you like it, you want to learn more, go click like, go click subscribe. You don't want to miss out. I got a lot more cool stuff coming through this channel. And as a little thank you for subscribing to my channel, here's a really awesome picture of some very cute animals. All right, awesome. So how do we know the difference between emotion and feeling? Well, it's actually pretty easy once you know what to look for. That feeling is what's happening right now for real. Emotion is based on the past and the future being put onto the present. So I use that example of winning money or losing money. Your life in that moment doesn't change at all. But your idea of what your future is does. And I'm not saying that the mind is wrong, but I'm saying it's not real in that it's still in the future. Feeling is what happens right now in the present moment. It is your inner navigation system. It is the divine supporting you. And it's especially important that we don't make important decisions based on emotion, whether it's good or bad. Anybody that's studied stock market trading knows this. It's fascinating to me that I worked for an investment bank for a short time after I got my bachelor's degree. And what they taught me was this. And I worked in Chicago, downtown Chicago, near the commodities trading. There's a lot of guys that want to be traders. Why? You can make an enormous amount of money very quickly. But they told me that they only accepted 1% of their applicants. And of those 1% that they hired, they said that 95% of them washed out within 6 months. Why? They couldn't get past the emotion. They couldn't get past the greed of trying to win too much when things were going their way. They couldn't get past the fear of losing out, of missing something. And so in the world of stock market trading or foreign exchange or any kind of trading, what you'll find is those that trade from emotion get killed. But if you can learn to connect to your feeling, you'll do really well. And I think it's pretty obvious you don't want to make important decisions based on negative emotion, right? Of course not. You also don't want to make decisions based on positive emotion. That's also dangerous. As an example, I had an experience some years ago when I was first getting involved in cryptocurrency. I had just finished a cleanse. And if you've ever done a cleanse, you probably know that that first day after the cleanse, you feel amazing, right? Eating again, your body's cleaner, it's great. You feel wonderful. And I had taken my son to a hockey game and our team won in overtime. Really exciting game. And I was on top of the world. And I came home, I had gotten a message from one of my buddies on Skype. It's like, hey Brent, I think this crypto is going to take off and go to the moon. You got to buy some. And this was back in the really heady days of late 2017 when we all thought we were going to become millionaires on crypto, right? So I logged into the system, and because I was in so much positive emotion, I got sloppy. I intended to buy $150 of it. I actually bought $15,000, and it tanked. It lost 90% of its value in the next month, and it's one of the ones that never recovered. So I lost $15,000 because I was making an important decision investing in too much positive emotion. So how do we get past this? There's several ways we can get past emotion and connect to feeling. If you haven't done so already, I would encourage you, definitely check out my spiritual power quiz. Here's the URL right now. This is important because not only will I tell you what your spiritual power is, I'm also going to send you some invitations to live experiences with me so we can do some of the more advanced work that can only be done live on, whether it's online or in a room, right? The quantum field entrainment, the beaming, consciousness shifting, the movement feedback holography. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. So how do we get past emotion and connect to feeling? Well, coaching is part of it. That's pretty simple, right? We all need coaches, consultants, friends to tell us what we're missing because we're stuck in emotion. Subconscious clearing through energy healing is also valuable. Intuition training is enormously important because intuition opens us up to be able to see and understand the feeling. What is your body, the divine, telling you in every moment? And you got to watch out for that emotion. So energy healing, trauma clearing can be very useful to get past a lot of the triggers that are creating so much of that negative emotion in the first place, so you can feel clearly what's going to be right for you. And over the long term, that intuitive training will provide your support. You will develop what I call your own personal intuitive language. You'll learn what things mean, because we're all a little different. Some of us are visually intuitive, some are auditory intuitives. That's me, I'm an auditory intuitive. Some of us are kinesthetic intuitives. So that intuition training is going to be really important to help you feel what's really going on, to get past the emotion and connect to your guidance and make the right decisions for you. And I got a lot of awesome trainings and programs to show you how to do that in what I think is a great way. And if you like my system, absolutely get in touch with me. Go to my website, take the Spiritual Power Quiz, check it out. If you don't like my stuff, that's okay too. I'm not for everybody. Find a good teacher that is right for you. Clear through all that emotion, connect to your feeling, your intuition, your guidance, and your life will take off like a rocket ship. That's all I got to say for today. So Brett Michael Phillips here signing off. And I hope to see you again very soon in some of my other YouTube videos or maybe at one of my online events. Until then, take care and namaste.